So part two about why you don't want to do anabolic steroids, and not really a separate part, I just stopped my last video, and I'm not a doctor once again. So in part one, we touched on the fact that they basically undo, and even worse, all of the good that you do from exercising, eating healthy, and living a healthy lifestyle. So normally when you work out and you exercise and everything, your heart gets better, your cholesterol gets better, your brain gets better, everything gets better from exercising. But steroids do the opposite, and they do it a lot. So don't do that. If you exercise to be healthy, it's stupid. On to part two. So I touched on the hair, and I think I may have mentioned the gynecomastia, but steroids can also cause gynecomastia, which means that males grow breast tissue or get larger chest area. I differentiated between the two because sometimes you'll get hard mammary tissue in your chest underneath the nipple, and sometimes you will get fatty deposit, and actually there's a third, sometimes you'll get enlargement of your nipple, so it'll get bigger, and the tissue, I haven't read much about it, but I think it can also get thicker. And a side effect of steroids that is ubiquitous, which cannot be avoided, is that they shut down your testicles. If you don't know what testicles are, they're your balls. So whenever you take steroids, your balls stop working. If you take a little tiny bit of steroids, your balls stop working a little tiny bit. But if you take a normal amount of steroids or a large amount of steroids, your balls stop working a lot, or they stop working altogether. Even a little tiny bit over a long amount of time will eventually largely shut your balls off. And I don't know, maybe you're thinking, oh my God, I don't want my balls to turn off, or you're thinking, but they'll come back on. Now here's the problem, it's a lot easier to turn something off than it is to turn it back on. And it doesn't turn back on right away if it does. And I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, when they're turned off, working less, they don't need, your body doesn't need your balls. So, I've mentioned in another video that your body only keeps muscle when it thinks it needs the muscle to survive, or else it slowly goes away. Now, the same is true about your balls, sadly. So if your body thinks it doesn't need your balls, it will get rid of them. Now, not completely, but they will start to die. And that doesn't mean that they're going to turn blue and fall off. What it does mean is that cells in them are going to start to die, so the size will go down. It causes other problems too. This is more common in your non-aromatizing steroids, but the seminal vesicles, which your semen goes through, your get girls pregnant fluid, it has to travel through some things that are like roots. And if you take steroids, especially the non-aromatizable ones that don't act very similar to testosterone, at least in the testicles, so like Anavar or Winstrol or something, your seminal vesicles also shrink up and die and get damaged. What that results in, I don't know. Seems like it would result in problems getting girls pregnant. Of course, lots of steroid users can still get their girlfriend or their wife or whoever pregnant. But do you really want to screw up your ability to have kids? I wouldn't. So, and then on top of that, what else is there? Oh yeah, visually, you're gonna have smaller balls that don't hang down as low. Now, I've heard people, well, my dick looks bigger if my balls are smaller. Personally, I like having big balls that are below my dick. Not because my dick's short, but because my balls are big. I mean, I think it shows manliness. But if you want to have little raisins, go right ahead. But if you do take a steroid like testosterone, luckily it won't damage the seminal vesicles as much. And if you have high enough systemic testosterone levels, it's probably going to be high enough in your testicles to keep them all healthy. But they will still atrophy because they're not producing it themselves. So what else? At the end of the day, it means smaller balls, chances of infertility, not being able to have kids. What else do steroids do? Now, this one is less scientific, but I could bring in this scientific reasoning why it happens. In short, it's due to changes in collagen and increased oxidative damage and increased cellular aging through a bunch of different mechanisms, those of which I do actually know because I'm interested in anti-aging, because I do not want to ever die. That's a really hard goal, and it's setting yourself up for failure if you make that your life's goal to never die. But I'm gonna do it. So basically, steroids age you, and that can show in your face, especially. You may be 30 and look 40, you may be 40 and look 50, you may be 20 and look 30. You may be 30 and look 25. I mean, they age you. So if you were gonna look 20 when you're 30, you're gonna look older than 20 when you're 30. If you're gonna look 45 when you're 40, you're gonna look even older. So wherever you were in age, you're gonna be worse. What else do steroids do that you don't want? Oh, a lot of steroids lead to worse tendons. While they do increase collagen synthesis and tendon synthesis, I'll just call it that, the tendons form much faster at a higher rate. I personally refer to this as emergency repair. It's a broad term I use for how steroids affect tendons when I'm telling people about it. Because basically, say you were to tear your tendon and you want it to heal. Normally it heals slowly, but it heals well. It makes a very stable, it's a stretch to call it elastic, but elastic structure. It's not very elastic, but it has a little bit of elasticity, and it's structurally sound. But when you use steroids, especially certain ones, and this has been shown with Winstrol, stanozolol, very thoroughly, it causes a stiff tendon that's more likely to rupture because it's just not formed as well. Now, I call this the emergency repair, because say you tear something, your tendon, and you want to get it healed up fast. You could, in theory at least, and there are steroids that do it better than others, use steroids, get it healed up really fast, then go off the steroids or onto hormone replacement therapy, but whatever. As long as you have normal hormonal levels in the body with normal testosterone, normal estrogen, normal everything. So you get it healed and made up really quickly, but it's not very good. But then when you go back to normal, slowly over time, it changes the structure and makes it more solid and elastic. What I mean by solid is more structurally sound. So you get it all done real quick, but it's just a patch-up job. Like if you're gonna nail a staircase breaks and you're gonna nail a board on the side of it just to hold it together for a little while. In the meantime, you're working on replacing the whole thing. That's what the steroids do for your tendons. It's a good patch-up, quick job. Now, I'm not recommending you do this, and like I said, some steroids cause really bad tendons, like stanozolol. Some steroids cause better tendons. Testosterone, your natural steroid, should work the best since it's your natural steroid. Now, does it work the best? I don't know. Maybe something will be shown to work better than it. Oxandrolone has been shown to work pretty good. It's actually been shown, I think, to even increase tendon strength in some rat experiments. But overall, I would still trust your testosterone, which is meant to be in your body the most. Yeah, I was supposed to be talking about side effects of steroids, and I started telling you about some good things. But yeah, side effects are worse tendons. And I may have just made it sound good, but it means that when you're on the steroids, you have a higher risk of rupturing a tendon. And there's two reasons. The one I just told you, and the fact that they're going to increase your strength. And tendons do not improve as fast as that strength increase. So maybe your bench press was 300 and your tendons could handle 300. And now your bench press just went to 350, but your tendons can only handle 300. So those tendons are not going to do too good, and they can tear or rupture. Or they can do really bad. So yeah, that's a good reason not to use steroids. Another reason, let's see if I can think of another one off the top of my head. Acne, not the worst thing in the world, but if it got bad enough, you could have scarring. Now, not everyone's going to have acne from steroids, but you might. I mean, that's pretty much all the big ones. If you're a girl, obviously there's a whole nother set of negative side effects. They make you into a man. So yeah, I hope this video was enjoyable for you to watch, informative, and I think it's good for the information to all be in one place rather than everyone having to find it like I've done over the years. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and please subscribe.